So we were discussing about the different types of AI. The first major types of AI which we discussed was based on the capability, that how much your artificial intelligence system is capable. So based on that, we discussed that you can have the narrow AI, which is inferior to human beings and which is only limited to a specific set task, right? If it can mimic more like human beings, if it is capable of doing multitasking and multiple kind of things, it is like general AI, right? On the other hand, when we talk about the super AI, it is that super capability which humans still can't do, right? And majority of the movies which you must have seen, Bollywood movies and all, when they showcase robots and artificial intelligence, they basically try to depict something which is more superior than human beings, something which is like superhuman being, which can do what normal humans can't do. So that kind of artificial intelligence is called as the super AI. This is what we discussed. Now let's talk about the different types of AI based on the functionality. So as I told you that based on the different kinds of functionality, your artificial intelligence systems can be divided into four major categories, and these are: the first one is reactive machines, limited memory, theory of mind, and self-awareness. So I always try to explain these four different types based on uh, human stages. So I was telling you that when a baby is born, right, when the baby is still in infant phase, right? So how much he can do, what functionality he can perform. Can he do things what we as an adult can do? No, it is only like a reactive machine. So if we will do some gesture to the baby will only react. So that limited capability when we have in system, it's called as the reactive machine. So reactive machine always give output based on what input you have provided. They don't apply their own mind. They don't learn from themselves. They don't have any experience feeded in their mind. So they are only reactive machines. But slowly and gradually, when the baby is a school going kid, then it acquire a limited memory. Whatever he learns, he always feed that in its memory, right? And but that memory, the child memory, is actually basically fades away. So similarly, when you create a machine which is capable of reacting what is already being feeded, at the same time also feed the limited memory for a specific period of time, that kind of machine is called as the limited memory. So I was giving you example of the self-driving cars. So when the self-driving cars are on the road, they react based on what is feeded by the programmer, that how they have to drive the car. But they also sense what is happening here and there. They also see what is happening behind me, right side, left side, in front of me, how the other drivers are driving. So that kind of memory the system stores and take decisions based on that. So if your artificial intelligence is capable of having some limited memory, learn from that limited memory and then take the decision, it is called as the limited memory artificial intelligence. Am I clear? Am I clear? Anyone? One nod, then I will go ahead. Okay, great. Now let's talk about theory of mind. So I was telling you that theory of mind is that ability of system when they apply their own minds, right? When they find logics, right? You must have seen in human beings also, the moment any human being enters in its 20, they become very logical. For everything, they want some logic behind. So when you are making your system to behave like adults, to have their own mind, to apply their own mind, that kind of capability of AI is called as the theory of mind. And slowly and gradually, when human beings become older, they are very self-aware. Now the self-awareness stage of human being is when They know what is right, what is wrong, right? So they know that what is right, what is wrong, and based on that they take decision whether it is logical or not, but they know that this is not right in long run, this is right in long run, and that is why they are called as the self-aware. So when what we are doing, we are trying to make systems also behave like human beings. So the most of the machines with which you are encountering with which you are having experience with are basically narrow AI, and they are the reactive machine. So you feed something and you get the answer for that. But slowly and gradually, we are trying to make artificial intelligence behave like human beings by having them, by learning themselves. So that is what, when we started that, will artificial intelligence replace human being? And many of you said that no, it is the programmer who is feeding what is needs to be done. What we have to realize it, that we were only creating reactive machine, but now we are trying to make machines which will have their own mind, which will learn from their own experience, right? And that is scary, isn't it? If we will make that ability also in computers, that they can learn from their own experience, they can store their experience, whatever they are learning in books, they can store in their mind, they can take decision based on that. That is very, very scary, isn't it, Mamta? Right? So that is what everyone is afraid of, that why we are making systems so strong that they become general AI, and not only general AI, super AI. What we can't do, systems will able to do. But one of you absolutely were right when you said that, in future, things like creative things will be valued, handmade things will be valued, because that thing will become scared. Otherwise, everything, all operational things will be done by the computer very, very efficiently, right? And so let's go to the various slides. So I have talked about the weak AI, right? Now, anyone, now you understand what are these terms? Is it clear?
Yeah.
Great. Narrow AI, super AI, general AI, reactive machine, limited memory, theory of mind, and self-aware. Now, majority of the movies which you must have seen, the sci-fi movies, they show robots which fights with human beings towards the end, right? We want robots to coexist, but at the end of the every movie we saw them fighting with each other, right? Because we show that the artificial intelligence is still not self-aware. They are not aware what is right, what is wrong, right? And with this, I will go back to my slide which I said I will be discussing about the types. When we started researching on artificial intelligence, there were 3 laws of Roberts which were defined, and everyone said that we will obey by these 3 rules. But let's see how much we are obeying them. So let me go back to that slide which I missed initially. These are the 3 laws of Roberts. It's very fast, isn't it? Zoom is very fast. I don't think so there is any transmission delay. Can you see 3 laws of Roberts?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's visible.
It's visible, right? So what is the first law? The first law of robotics says that a robot may not injure a human being, or through inaction allow a human being to come on the harm. So any artificial intelligence, any robot should not harm or injure the human being, right? That was the first law of robot with which we started. The second law said that a robot must obey, right? So a robot should always obey the human beings. It should take orders from the human beings, provided it should not hamper the first. So it should not, I should not say that, go and harm that human being. No, because as far as it is not disobeying the first law, the second law is in existence, that it should not harm, and it should always obey what humans are saying. And the third law says a robot must protect its own existence as long as it protects its existence does not conflict with the first or second. So a robot can protect its existence, but it should not harm the human beings, and it should always obey the human beings. There, this particular thing is generally tempered in all the movies which you see. They obey what humans are saying, right? They don't initially harm, but to protect their existence, they forget the first two laws. Anyway, and that is why artificial intelligence is 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 a very big disruption, but at the same time scary, right? I hope I'm making sense to you, right? Now you must have heard about the branches of AI. Just now we discussed about the types of AI, but now there are some branches of AI. Anyone, any idea about these branches where all these AIs are being used? One is the machine learning. Nowadays, machine learns themselves. You must have seen, nowadays traffic police. They put lot of cameras on road, right? And they automatically detect which car is having great speed or whatever rule you break, right? They automatically learn themselves. They automatically learn whether who was sitting and what speed it was driving, everything. So your machines are becoming learning devices. They learn from their experience. So any application which is making machines to learn itself is a part of the machine learning. You must have heard about supervised learning, unsupervised learning. Have you heard about these terms in AI? Supervised learning, unsupervised learning? Anyone? Supervised learning, unsupervised learning? So okay, let's take a simple example. It's a very vast subject, I will not able to cover in detail, but just take an example. Whenever we start teaching kids, you know how we teach them that an apple is an apple. How we teach them? We supervise them. We tell them that this is the shape, the here it is a dip, it is red in color, it is this in size. So when we are with the individual and teaching them, it is supervised learning. So in schools, when we are attending classes, we are actually in a supervised learning environment. But when we learn on our own, it is unsupervised learning. Nobody is supervising us, but we are learning on our own. Similarly, there is a branch of artificial intelligence that is called machine learning, in which we are making systems, we are making computers first to learn under some human beings. And nowadays we are talking about unsupervised learning. So we don't want any human beings to teach systems. We want them to learn from themselves. So they will take the data from IoT devices, they will take the data from internet, and they will create the patterns, and they will create their learning on their own. And this is scary, right? So what we are trying to do in AI is we are trying to mimic like human beings. Now human beings can speak. So if Mamta is speaking, I can identify Mamta is speaking, right? If Noah is speaking, I can understand Noah is speaking. So when we want our computers to understand speech, when we want our computers to understand what we are trying to say, right? That capability is called as NLP. Can you see on my screen NLP? Natural language processing. Can you see NLP on my screen?
Yes. We see.
Yes, natural language processing. Yeah.
Yes, no? So NLP is understanding the natural language. Logic is when you want systems to have their own logic and react accordingly. Then you have expert system, like you have doctors, you have engineers. So we are trying to make expert system, having limited memory, having narrow capability, but we want them experts. So a doctor, a normal doctor and a AI based doctor will behave same, because they will have the learnings from the doctor, and they will act as an expert system. So you have lot of branches of artificial intelligence. You have robotics, you have neural network, you have machines which are learning themselves. You have now you have Alexa, how Alexa is working, how Alexa understand that Tina is giving some command. So they are using NLP, they are using natural language processing aspect of artificial intelligence, and that is how they are understanding the commands given by the human beings. So there are a lot of branches when we talk about the AI, and again, they all are of different types, and these types we have already discussed. So all these branches will fit into either narrow AI, super AI, general AI. They will be either reactive machine, or they will be having their own limited memory, or they will apply their own theory of mind, or they are self-aware. But what we need to understand, that still we have not reached to the level of self-aware AI. We are still having limited memory AI, right?
Professor,
Yes.
please, I don't understand the difference between expert system and the machine learning. Is not the same?
Sorry. No, machine learning and expert system. What you are saying? Let me just.
It's not the same. It's not the same.
No,
I
they
don't
are not
understand.
same. They are not same. I'm saying these are the various. These are the various application branches.
Hmm.
These are the various branches. Expert systems are like, expert doctors. So you feed them a specialized field of learning, and then you make them behave like them. Machine
But-
learning is different. You have deep learning, you have supervised learning, you have unsupervised learning. You are making systems to learn from their own. You are making systems to have deep learning, deep understanding of the concept, and they are exactly not same. They are not same at all.
But the expert system, there is a part of learning in the inference engine.
Yes, expert system will have its own knowledge base. They will have their own, they will have a part of their own learning, but they will be fed with the knowledge externally. And
Ah,
based on the knowledge which you will, feed them, they will take their decisions based on that,
okay, okay.
right? So this is how the expert system works. You have the user interface, you will have a rule engine where you will have a complete knowledge base. So if you want an expert system to have an expert advice on cancer, you will have a knowledge base in the expert system, and based on that knowledge base, the decisions will be taken for the diagnosis. So
Okay.
expert systems basically have they are the basically narrow AIs. They are not generalized AI. They have the narrow AI. They work based on what kind of knowledge you have already fed it in them. Right?
Right, right.
So we can say that the machine learning is the general eye.
Sorry, machine learning is?
Just you mentioned that the expert system is the narrow eye. Similarly, the machine learning is the narrow eye or
Yes,
general eye.
machine learning you will be using for making general AI.
Oh,
Absolutely
that's
right.
the
Because
general
you
eye.
want
Yeah,
machines
yeah,
to learn on their own. You want
yeah.
them to learn in unsupervised condition also. You don't want that always programmer should be there to feed the logic. No,
Yeah.
you are making machines capable enough to take out the trends and make the algorithms on their own based on the data which is being generated by a lot of IoT devices and on the other platforms. So that is why I said you have the supervised learning, you have the unsupervised learning, and the moment you will make able to you will make systems to learn on their own, you are
Yeah,
you are
that's why
actually trying to make
that's a machine learning comes under the general AI. You mean?
machine learning will come under. No, machine learning is a branch through which you can create general AI applications.
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah.
Right? Now, similarly, I told you that you have the human language. So NLP is natural language processing through which your AI understand human language, and they can take action based on what is being fed. And I told you that how your Alexa and all are working based on what commands you are giving, right? So you have different types of AI, you have various branches of AI, and I think we all have seen the various AI application in our everyday life. Like we have seen how AI is being used in vehicles. Nowadays you have the auto driven vehicles. You have seen your Gmail, right? Gmail automatically filters what is spam, what is your primary mail, and what is spam, and you don't do it, it does automatically. So there also the AI is being used. You must have seen the face recognition system now on your mobile phones. The moment you will capture my photograph, a separate folder with my face will be there, and all my photographs will be stored in that. How that is being done? It is being done with the help of face recognition. So you are using, your mobile phones are using face recognition system to create the separate folders for all the for all the people on your system. Then you have the recommendation. You must have seen Netflix, right? You must have seen Hotstar. All of you are using these platforms, and the content which is shown to you is purely based on what is your interest area. Many of us are using Instagram. Now what I am getting on my Instagram is totally different from what you are getting on your Instagram, because it is the recommendations are coming based on what kind of content I'm liking, what kind of content I'm viewing. So there also the AI is being used. And you all know that GPS system we all are using, road mapping, is a purely AI application. And when we talk about the Siri and Alexa, I told you NLP is being used, and again it is a kind of AI. And then you have the home automation system. You can plug in, you have a lot of IoT devices, they can take your commands through the Alexa and all. It is also an application of AI. And similarly, AI is being used in lot many other sector, like healthcare is using AI extensively. You must have seen that all the factories nowadays are having a lot of things which are automated. You don't require human labor to work on or making your potato chips automatically. You just feed the raw potatoes, and the potato chips will be taken out. So all these are different application of artificial intelligence in different area. So any question? Because we have one more topic, blockchain, that will be starting. So these are the top use cases. We have seen that AI is being used for customer experience, human resource, fraud detection. So AI, you name anything, wherever you want intelligence, where you have to play with a lot of data, especially in business, you can use AI. This is what I wanted to discuss with you. If you have any queries, you may ask. Otherwise, in 2 minutes, we'll start with the blockchain. Are we okay with artificial intelligence? Can anyone acknowledge? Can anyone acknowledge?
Yeah, we're just learning. It's a new topic for me.
Yeah, Mamta, are you saying something?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, I'm getting knowledge that it is totally new for me. So
Okay. Now
Yeah,
at least you understood the basic terms of artificial intelligence.
yes. The different types of AI. I just earlier just heard about the AI, but now
you
you
have
just elaborate.
Okay.
Different type within the AI. There are different types
There are
of
different
AI,
types.
and then what's the branches, and then so yeah, I have some cut knowledge. Yeah,
Okay.
meeting.
Great. So, okay, thank you. Then in another 2 minutes, we'll start the second session, that is on blockchain, right?
Okay,
Yes,
Tina,
ma'am. Yes, Divya.
are we going for a break?
For 2 minutes only or 5 minutes? I'm done with
Oh,
artificial
half an hour.
intelligence.
So basically we are on the lunch break timing, 1:15 to 1:45, and after that we start with the next session. If you want to wrap up something also, we can do it, but starting another session now would be difficult.
So you want break, and then we'll start from 5 minutes?
1:45. 1:45.
1:45. So I'll take half an hour, right?
Ma'am, I'll connect with you on separately. I think it is since we have lost a lot of time. I'll connect with you on that. But for now, let's go on a break and let's rejoin at 1:45 p.m. IST. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Great.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So let's start with our second topic of the day, that is blockchain. Now, before we start blockchain, I want to understand from you, how many of you have heard about this particular term? How many of you have heard about this term? Blockchain. You can use the chat room. Divya, I hope everyone can hear me.
Yeah, I am able to. So please check once.
I want to understand from all of you. I want this session to be little interactive so that by the end of the session, you understand what exactly blockchain is. Because, you know, you will find many videos, many books on blockchain, but it's very simple, but understanding its concept becomes very, very difficult at times. So I want to know how many of you have heard about this term. Okay, great. So I can see some of the responses coming. Yes, they have heard. Okay, so if I ask you, all of you can use your chat box. If I ask you one thing which comes to your mind when you think about blockchain, what is that? What is that first thing which comes to your mind when we talk about blockchain? Okay, fintech. Okay, something to be used in finance, right? So it's a technology for finance. Okay, anyone else? Okay, wonderful. Cryptocurrency, yes. I think majority of us relate blockchain with cryptocurrencies only. Anyone else? Anyone else? So only Muhammad Adnan wants to reply, and as per him, he associates blockchain with fintech and cryptocurrency. Nobody else has heard about this particular term. Nobody wants to interact post lunch.
I think so. You start, and maybe once I get the flow, they'll definitely engage.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about yes, somebody has replied, shared immutable ledger that facilitate the process of recording transaction and tracking. Absolutely right. I think this is the main definition which you will get on the internet whenever you will type about the term blockchain. Okay. So let me just share my screen, but more than my screen, I will take a simple example and to make you understand what blockchain is. Okay, let me just share my slide meanwhile. Okay, so in today's session, we will discuss about blockchain and what is its disruptive power, how organizations will use blockchain in their business. Now, when I asked you, what do you relate blockchain with? I think only one person answered, and he spoke about that blockchain is something to do with fintech, or blockchain is basically cryptocurrency. So majority of us, I think, given a chance, will give the same answer. All of us think about cryptocurrencies or bitcoins when we talk about the blockchain. But before we start discussing on blockchain, please understand we are not just talking about the bitcoins, because bitcoin is not blockchain, or you can say that bitcoin uses blockchain technology. But blockchain is not just the Bitcoin. So we will clear out this confusion, and after attending this particular session, you will be able to understand what blockchain technology is all about and how organizations can use it. So as I told you that, Bitcoin is not blockchain. Bitcoin is just an application of blockchain technology. Blockchain is that technology which is behind all the cryptocurrency, and I think we all know that there are many cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin is one of them. So let's try to understand what blockchain is, because it is a technology behind all the cryptocurrencies and Bitcoins. Now, what is blockchain? A blockchain is a list of data blocks that are linked together. And this particular technology basically helps, permits. How come my slides are moving automatically? So blockchain is a technology that permits transactions to be generated, gathered into blocks and recorded, and also help have the cryptographic chain blocked in chronological order, and also allow resulting ledger to be accessed by different server. When you will look at these kinds of definition on blockchain on internet, it becomes very, very difficult for us to understand what this technology is. Why my slides are moving again and again? Okay. Now I want all of you to have this activity with me. Is everyone with me? Is everyone with me?
Yes.
Yes. Now, when we talk about blockchain, we always say that blockchain is a subsystem comprised of transactions. It is immutable ledger. It is based on the decentralized network. Why my slides are, is anyone moving my slides on my behalf?
Oh. Yes, moving.
No, is anyone moving my slides on my behalf?
Yeah, Dr. Tina, any problem?
My slides are automatically moving. Is anyone
Yes.
moving my slides?
Yes.
No, it's not possible for anyone else. Reshare it. Maybe some issue.
Yes, I'm sharing again. Can you all see now? Can you all see now?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. So when we talk about the blockchain, now we are talking about blockchain as a technology. So when we talk about the blockchain, all the definition you will find again n number of definition on internet. But when you will read these definition, all of them will talk about that blockchain has something to do with transactions. Blockchains are basically used for recording transactions. And in all the definition, you will also hear a word called ledger. So it is an immutable ledger, right? When we talk about, again, blockchain, there is one more term which comes, that is decentralized peer, right? And encryption or something like consensus. So you go on internet and you will find that all the definition, the wordings could be different, but the key items in all the definition will be these 5 things. That is, it has to do something with transaction, It is for creating your ledgers. It has the involvement of decentralized peers, and you have something encrypted in it, and it also uses some mechanism. Now let's take an activity. I want all of you to think and tell me how a teacher takes an attendance. How a teacher takes an attendance. Can anyone tell me how a teacher takes an attendance? Yes. So a typical register for any student is something like this. Now I'm explaining something. Trust the process. After this activity, blockchain will be clear to you. This is how a typical attendance register works. I want someone to acknowledge. Yes. Is anyone who's active?
Yeah.
Who is this? Mr. Than, are you there?
Yes,
Yeah. So, Mr. Than, typically how a teacher takes an attendance is this like? This is like every teacher takes an attendance. You have something called roll number. You have name,
yeah.
and for each day, she will mark you present or absent.
Yes.
Right? Now, assume this register is with me and you are absent today, or I am absent today. You are taking the attendance. Since I am absent for this particular class, you are not marking anything. And
Yes.
when I'm coming in the next class, you are again marking me P.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
And this place when I was absent is blank. This is
Yes.
a typical case. And towards the end of the month, a teacher will see who all were absent. And if a student is coming and saying that, ma'am, I was present, please mark me present, I was busy in somewhere. So a teacher has all the rights to mark him or her present despite of being absent,
Yes.
right? Or absent, it is her will. But what I'm trying to say that this particular thing can be manipulated. I can write P or A depending upon my mood that day and depending upon the student's reason.
Yes.
Yes. Now
Yes.
let's try to understand. There are two terms. One is transaction, the other is leisure. What do you mean by term transaction? What do you mean by term transaction? I will come back to this example again. What is a transaction in general? Transaction in general, we understand with monetary transaction. And something is debiting, something is crediting. If you are depositing money in your account, if you are withdrawing money in your account, generally we consider that as a transaction. Yes, that is a transaction. Any other definition for transaction? Generally, we consider transactions as monetary transactions. But in real sense, transaction is basically any change of state. It's not always, monetary transaction. Anything which is changing the state of anything is called as a transaction. For example, me marking present for day 1, me marking present for day 2, or absent for day 3, these are all transactions, right? So if I'm marking somebody P from nothing, it is a transaction. If I'm marking somebody A instead of P, it is also a transaction. So what is a transaction? A transaction is change of state of anything. It can be a monetary transaction. It can be a non-monetary transaction. So please understand, when we are talking about an attendance register, every faculty is making transaction in that register, right? And this complete register in financial terms can be called as a ledger. Ledger is a place where you record your transactions. Are you with me?
Yes, yes,
Yes. So
yes,
similarly, when you go to a bank, you have balance sheets. You have daily transaction sheets where you make entries, what is coming in, what is going out. So any place where you are recording a transaction, it is called as a ledger. You also have ledgers of land record. Now, this particular land is owned by Tina. So there will be a ledger, there will be a register, there will be a place, whether on physical register or on computer, which will be called as a ledger. And in that ledger, the owner of a particular flat is suppose Tina. So any place where you record your transaction is called as a ledger. Now, ledger is a very, very important thing because it carries the information. Now, you must have heard about lot of land frauds. So whenever anyone purchases any land, sometime it happens that they come to know that this particular land was already sold to somebody else. And you are the second, third owner, and you are actually not a legal owner because this land was not owned by somebody who sold you. Right? So what you need to understand is there could be monetary transactions, there could be non-monetary transactions, and these transactions are feeded, these transactions are maintained in ledgers. And ledgers are very, very important document because they actually have the correct data. Now, the challenge of managing the ledger is that the ledgers can be manipulated. Ledgers can be manipulated. For example, in this particular register, I manipulated the attendance. Somebody, Tina, was absent on day 3, but I marked her present because she gave me some valid reason and I marked. Now, the other student who was also absent in this particular class also came to me and said, ma'am, I was present. I was not present because of so and so problem. So I will say, no, I will not give you the attendance. So I mark Tina present, or I mark Tina absent, and I mark somebody else present for the same day. Is it good or bad? Is it good or bad? Of
No
course,
no
it
good,
is not.
good.
Okay. If you want me, or if you want your teacher to avoid this, nowadays, how the attendance are taking place? How the attendance are taking place? Attendance are taking place on internet, right? So you write present or absent on a particular date, and after that particular day, the attendance will not be changed. So even if I want to change the attendance of previous class, I will not able to change, right? What
Yes,
I'm trying you to visualize is that there is something called transaction. There is something called ledger where you save your transaction. Now, the challenge is that these transactions should not be tampered. They should not be tampered. Now, if I'm taking attendance of this particular day and I'm broadcasting it to everyone. So in my previous session, only 5 students were present. If I would have clicked the picture of that particular screen where 5 students were visible, and I would have shared this on the message, everyone will have the same data that how many of you were present, how many of you were absent. Can anyone manipulate that data? Can anyone manipulate that data?
yes,
If I,
yes,
yes?
they can, yes, they can manipulate.
No, if I will take the snapshot, if I will take who all are present, and I will take the picture of all those students and share on the message box, can you all see who all were present?
Yes, yes,
But can I make somebody absent, present on for that day or for that session or absent? I can't do. I can't do. Why I can't do? Because now the data is not just with me, data is with all of you. Because I clicked the picture of that attendance and shared with each one of you.
yes, yes, right.
Getting it? So I took the attendance in the register and I shared that list of students who were present with all of you like photograph. I messaged, I clicked the picture of those present students and added that to your message box. Now, even if I want, I can't change it. I can't change it. Why I can't change it? Because I've already shared with you. Now this data is not only with me, this data is with all of you. If I will make any correction in my record, if I will make somebody present or absent in my record, will your
Yes.
record have the same editing?
Yes, fine, right.
How come you will have the same editing if I'm editing in my register that somebody is present and I shared the photograph of that? Will your data have what I have added, edited in my record? Yes or no? Yes or no? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, here.
Yeah, so I was asking that if I'm taking something, if I'm adding some transaction in my register, taking a picture and sharing with you, and then editing my register, will you have the same data as mine? You will not have the same data as mine because I shared the photo with you. I have edited my document, but your document is not having the same reflection of what I am editing in my register. Because I am sharing with you the photograph of that attendance sheet.
Yes.
Right? Okay. Now, if I want to make somebody present, right, who by mistake I marked absent, right, and the student is saying that, ma'am, I was present. I will say, no, you were not present. I marked you absent. He will say, ma'am, please talk to all my friends. Now, and they all know that I was sitting in the class. So what I will say, okay, let me ask. So I will ask each one of you, was he there? You will say, yes, ma'am, he was there. So when you will give me the consent, then I will say, okay, now I agree that all of you acknowledge that he was there. It means he was there, and I will mark you present for that day.
Yes.
I'm again coming back. I'm taking an example of register attendance. I'm taking attendance. I mark somebody absent, right? And I click the photograph of my attendance register. I shared with all of you. You have the attendance register with you now, right? And somebody is coming to me and saying that, ma'am, I'm present and I'm marking him present in my register, but all of you are not knowing that I marked in my register him the presence. So the attendance register is not valid. It is not valid because the data which I'm having and the data which you are having is not coinciding. It's different. If I have to add something, I have to take acknowledgement of each one of you. That, okay, can you tell me, was he present? Once you will say me that he was present, then I will add his attendance in my register. Right? I will come back to blockchain. Trust the process. Next example. Let's talk about the land record. If I'm purchasing a particular land or a flat, right? I go to the registry office. I'm getting my registry done that this particular flat or this particular land is mine now. Now, if this particular data is recorded in a register and somebody is managing this register, he will have all the right to edit. He can anytime change whatever he wants, right? And that is why all these land records are now stored on cloud. And it is shared by everyone, that all of you can see that who is the owner of this particular land, because then nobody will able to make corrections, changes in that ledger. Now understand what the blockchain technology is. Now blockchain is that technology which helps you recording the transactions. It is that technology which helps you managing the transactions. It helps you creating the immutable ledger. It helps you creating those registers which you cannot edit. Once you have Once you have added somebody present, you can never mark him or her absent for that particular day. Because if you are using blockchain, blockchain is a technology which helps you managing immutable ledger, right? How? Because whatever you are recording, it get publicized, it get distributed, it goes to everyone, to all the peers. So the data is not stored on a centralized location. It is with all the decentralized peers. Am I clear?
Yes,
So
yes.
data is not with one person. This register is not just with teacher. The copy of this register is with all the students. It is decentralized. And the attendance register is not having, you know, simple P or A. It is having some encryption, which you can't even understand whether this encryption is for P or A. So blockchain uses a technology where it does not enter, you know, simple data. It converts this data into encrypted form, so that when you look at this data, you will not understand what this data is. To secure it so that it cannot be tampered, it cannot be hacked, you encrypt your data, right? And blockchain is a technology which helps you managing transaction, immutable ledger, have decentralized network, and also works on consensus mechanism. Why consensus? That if whenever you want to add anything in your block, anything in your ledger, anything, any transaction you want to record in your ledger, needs to have the acknowledgement of each one of the peer on the network. It should work on the consensus. So if somebody is saying that I was present, I will take acknowledgement of all of you. I will take your consents. Was he present? Once all of you will say that he was present, then only I will add that transaction in my ledger. Am I clear? Now let's come back and understand what is blockchain. Now, blockchain, as I told you, it's a technology behind Bitcoins. Now, Bitcoins are not on paper. When you have something on paper, you know that I know this money. How will you know that the money which I'm having on my computer in the form of Bitcoins, it's mine? Nobody will able to take this money from me. So there must be a record where it is recording that this particular Bitcoin belongs to Tina Bagga. And this particular record should be such strong that nobody should able to alter it. Because if somebody will alter it, then I will lose all my money. Right? So blockchain is a technology which helps you managing any kind of transaction. Like it can manage monetary transaction like Bitcoins. It can manage the land transactions. It can manage the attendance transaction. It can manage the, you know, healthcare records. So any kind of transaction, whether it is monetary transaction, whether it is non-monetary transaction, if you want to store such a way that it cannot be changed, it cannot be altered, you can use a technology called blockchain, because it helps you managing transaction. It helps you. So let me show you this particular slide which talks about the various. Let me just. So just look at it. Now, any doubt on these, that what blockchain helps you doing? That it helps you managing transaction. It helps you creating immutable ledger, right? It works on decentralized network. It helps the encryption process to encrypt the data so that nobody can tamper it with, and it is based on the consensus mechanism, right? Any doubt in blockchain as a technology? Anyone? Okay, so I've already talked about what are transaction. I told about what is immutable, means something which cannot be changed, which cannot be edited. I told you what is decentralized, means it's not on the server, it is not centralized, it is decentralized. The data will be with everyone. If we are 10 in the network, all 10 of us will have the same set of data, and neither of us can change any transaction without having the consensus of each one of us. That is what is the decentralized ledger, right? And I told you that data is not saved in simple terms. Rather, the data will be encrypted so that you cannot, or the hackers cannot tamper with the data. And I also spoke about consensus, that in a blockchain, every transaction will be added based on the consensus. Unless and until, if we are 10 in the network, unless and until each one of us will give the consensus that this node can be added, this data can be added, nobody will able to do that. So it works on the consensus, right? So this is all about the blockchain. And when we talk about the blockchain, generally, when we talk about the banking systems, they work on the centralized network. But blockchain is a technology which works on decentralized network. So you don't have any role of banks. So when you are working, it's a fintech technology where you do not, in future, you will not require banks to help your, monetary transaction. Rather, you will work on the decentralized. So where all the blockchain can be used, wherever, please understand, wherever the transaction needs to be recorded, whether it is ownership, whether it is intellectual property right, whether it is crowdfunding, whether it is debt, whether it is private market, gambling, whether it is other payment methods, gateways, wherever the transaction, whether it is monetary or monetary transaction, non-monetary transactions are required, you may use blockchain, right? So with this, we end with blockchain. And tomorrow, me and Anita Vinayak, Professor Anita Vinayak, will come again and discuss with you one of the case. And along with that case, we will also be doing one activity. So I'm giving you that activity. What you have to do is, you, whichever organization you are in, whatever profile you have to think about what automation you would like to bring in your business process, in your organization, for the job profile where you're working in. So Professor Anupma R must have talked about the importance of big data. Professor Anita Vinayak spoke about cloud computing. Then we discussed about IoT, Internet of Things, artificial intelligence and blockchain. So now you're aware about these technologies. What you have to do is, you have to think about your own organization, your own business process. And tomorrow you all will give 5 minutes presentation each on which particular technology for what business process you would like to adopt. So what sort of automation you would like to have in your organization, you have to give presentation on. So everyone will get 5 minutes tomorrow, in tomorrow's session. Is it clear? Okay, I think I'm done. Thank you so much, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow with Professor Anita, and we will have an activity and a case study. I now welcome Professor Dr. Anupma Rajesh to take over her session. Thank you so much, Anupma ma'am, for sparing your time and giving me opportunity to complete my session. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. All right. That was a wonderful session, and thank you so much for sharing such important inputs on blockchain. I think the future, the lot of financial future lies in blockchain, and it's now going into big way into supply chain also. So more of that tomorrow with the experts on Saturday. We will now go back into a little bit of an activity. I know that this is afternoon, you've had lunch, a lot of input has been given since morning, so you're slightly tired. So what we'll do is give you a 10-minute break. You take that break, and when you come back, we go into a lot of activities. So we have word clouds for you, we have a little quiz for you, and so that you will kind of wake up. All right. So what we'll do is we'll put a recap, the recap of what we did yesterday, a recap slide for you. In your break, go through that slide, and once you're done, we will have a very interesting quiz on you. So can we have the recap slide, please? And we give you a 10-minute break. We meet you exactly at 2:30. And here's a recap slide. So the next one, we leave them with that. So this is what we did yesterday. We talked of sources of data, we talked of big data, etc. But this is a recap of yesterday. When we come back, we have a quiz on this particular session. So please be ready. And good afternoon, namaskar, salam. Can we all come back? Enough of a break. And it's time for some very interesting activities. Give me a shake hand or any kind of reaction to show that you're back. And we are going to start our next activity. So there's a thumbs up, there's a wave, lots of these very interesting reactions on the bottom. So tell me you're back. Mohammad, Tan, Andrea. Hi. Andrea.
Yes, we are back.
Andrea. So Heather, Mamta, Mariza, Mohammad, Than, now. Yes. So nice to see you also. So we've kept the recap. So we've let you cheat a little. You could have always taken a screenshot of what we had on. And now let's go and take a little quiz. So can we go to the quiz slide, please? So same way, you go to this QR, open your camera, scan it, or if you want, you can go to the website and log into this pin and let's go. We'll go to the Kahoot site. Yeah, just give me a second. Let them first log in. Very easy quiz, easy to do, but you have to attempt it. It's going to be fun. Yeah, so we're waiting for the players. Please join in. And we'll have some nice music for you. So Thida has joined in. Everybody has to join. Your marks here are going to be included in. So can we have some music? Doesn't matter. Let them enjoy the music. So everybody has to join. Abhimanyu, right? Thida, Mama, join in. Right. Everybody has to join quickly. Avinash. Very good. Han. Apali Sio. Very good. Great. Excellent. Mohammad. Mamta. Join in. More. At least 10. Right. Elder has joined in. Very good. More. We'll wait for 10 to, so. Some more. Quick on. Mamta, where are you? You promised in the morning that you will join in the evening. Thida, hi. You're enjoying our sessions.
Yes, I like. Yes.
Our English is very, it's non-accented, so you understand well, right?
I understand well. Yeah.
More. We want more to join in. It's stuck. So here we go. Please join in. Very simple quiz. And it's a time based, so you have to quickly answer. All right. Next. Very good, Thira. Excellent. So we showed all of this yesterday. Very good. Very good. Very good. 6 right answers. Excellent. Okay. Brilliant. Excellent. You can always Google. These are not difficult at all. Very quickly. Very good. 2 right answers. Excellent. It's a tough fight. This one's really simple. Everybody must get this right. Quickly, quickly. Very good. Thira is really leading. Very good. Helder has taken over. Very good, Helder. All these can be Googled. They're so easy. Very good. We talked about tools yesterday and we showed you videos also. Very good. Tough fight between Thida and Avinash and Helder. Also close. Everybody's very close, actually. Victor, you haven't joined.
I'm here.
Join quickly.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
So we are done. And let's see, Theda has won. And then there's Avinash, then Elder. Well done, guys. Brilliant. Okay. Next slide, please. Now, this is again that same interesting word cloud that we did yesterday. What do you know about BI trends? So anything that comes to your mind, the minute I say BI, which is business intelligence, trends, anything that comes to your mind, just type in. Same thing, just scan and type. Scan this QR code. On the left, you're giving you that little animation as to how to do it. Take your camera, scan that QR code, type the first few words that come to your mind when you say BI trends, anything that comes to your mind. And I must have at least 20 words. So very quickly do that. Very simple, just scan the QR code, type the first few words that come to your mind when I say BI trends. Let's see what comes to your mind. Very good.
How do I scan? Take a photograph.
Just scan. Put the camera in front of the QR code and scan.
Okay.
Go to that. Yeah. Everybody scan. Anything that comes to your mind. Have you got the same? Yes, so it's coming. Tableau, very good. Resource planning, Power BI, very fantastic. We've learned all this yesterday. Fantastic. Some more words. Whatever comes to your mind. Very good. So I am so glad you remember all this. Brilliant. Oh, wow, there's more. Artificial intelligence. You've just learned about artificial intelligence. Predictive analytics. Very good. Cloud-based. Data science, self-service. I think you've picked up a lot of IT. A lot of IT you've picked up. Very good. Excellent. Couldn't be better. You picked up all the right words. So there are more coming. Big data. You remember big data. Excellent. So remember we said when there's lots of data, multimedia data, that's your big data. Excellent. So well done. Brilliant. Excellent. So can we take a screenshot of that so that we know that we've got such nice words in, people have themselves done that. Very good. Excellent. Very good. All right. Wow, there's more. There's cloud coming in. So brilliant. Excellent. So what we'll do now is talk a little bit about all this. So can we just go to the next slide, please? Okay. So we're going to talk about, the topic today is business trends, various trends. We'll talk about business intelligence trends. And let's go, right. So let's go. So these are a few top business intelligence trends. Artificial intelligence, security. I talked about a lot of security yesterday. I said whenever there's data on board, you cannot emphasize enough on the security. A lot of discovery. You're going to discover new sets of data. I'm going to talk a little bit about predictive and prescriptive analytics. Very important, very interesting. A lot of collaboration going on. Remember, I talked yesterday that you cannot have There's no point in keeping data and just analyzing it. You have to share it. The sharing of the data is where the most important bit comes in. And of course, data governance, which means how do you take care of the data that's available to you? While all this is happening, data literacy, IT literacy, of course, is the most important thing, because all the jargon that we use, all the words that we use, all the trends that we talk about, they should make sense to you. Natural language processing, or NLP, very, very important. Somebody switched on the captions. So see, the machine, the computer, the Zoom is understanding what I'm saying and converting them into captions. It's actually converting what I'm saying into English language. So that's a lot of very interesting stuff going on. Automating all that data, and of course, embedded analytics, which means that the minute you have any process, there's embedded analytics. That means real-time analytics. Remember this very simple example. I like these word clouds because these are embedded analytics. Instantly, they give me an idea as to how many people are participating, because the more words I have, they give me an idea as to how many people are listening to what I'm saying. It's so simple analytics. Basically, analytics understands that any process that you are running, just to understand that process well in terms of numbers, in terms of trends, is your analytics. So great, let's talk of one of the each one separately. So Jose is there, let's admit him. But look at this. You are looking at all the trends that's happening in 2022, that's last year, because every year they release the trends. And just look at the importance of the number 2 trend, and it's a very consistent 7.2, says enabling a data-driven culture. Next is data discovery, data governance, self-service analytics, data warehouse. So are you seeing? Everything is about data analytics, data preparation, mobile BI. So everything, the first few top trends are going to be about data. So one cannot then talk enough about the importance of data. So remember this, that data is where remember we showed you a slide yesterday, data, the new oil, right? Right. So can we go to the next slide? Okay. Now, very interesting, the future, where are we going from all this business intelligence? And do you remember what business intelligence is? You have data, you do some kind of analytics, you convert it into reports and visualizations and use it to do your decision making better. Remember the word we used, data-driven decision making. So where is all of this going into? So first of all, collaboration, meaning that a lot of people are getting together and they're collaborating to get the job done in a better way. Then integration, that means you are getting data from all kinds of places, putting them in the central repository and making more sense of it. Do you remember the word data warehouse? So that's your integration. You are integrating data from various places, putting it in a central warehouse, and then utilizing it for better decision making. So if you see the third one, data-driven culture. And remember I said all decision making, all management processes must be backed up by data. There is the days of ad hoc decision making, the days of ad hocism are gone. Machine learning. Every time you make a choice, you give a new set of parameters, a new set of learning points, a new set of data points to the machine, and your computer starts giving you better predictions. Of course, you need better networks. Network is the key. People like you and me sitting in various countries are sitting across a platform and learning. So that's where the important, and of course, proactive. Remember, even yesterday I said, you cannot have a reactionary kind of, management. You have to be preemptive in your approach. You need to learn. You almost need to predict what's going to happen and accordingly take either remedial or precautionary measures, which means that either you make sure that whatever process you are in charge of is running on course, the standards are being met, the processes are being executed, etc. So that's a lot of data proactivity is important there. So remember, proactivity, not reaction, but preemption. That is the key to all good management. Yeah, next slide, please. So Dr. Tina has already talked about AI, and that's the first trend that we are going to talk of. Everything is about artificial intelligence. So look at the numbers. 300% increase in investments of AI. 50% businesses are anticipating that AI will improve your customer experience, such as something as maybe as simple as Alexa prompting you your favorite song, or giving you your favorite shopping cart, or any of these. Then 20% are using to personalize your brand experience to purchase. So they can project your various kind of things in your house. They can use your profiles to show how a particular cloth will look on you, etc. So a lot of AI happening for UX, which is user experiences. And then you're going to make 20%. You're looking at all kinds of automation to make better decision making. So that's a very big thing. You are looking at automation and how to do better decision making. And of course, AI is, so don't think, a lot of people say that when machines come, then people lose jobs. It is very unfair to say that, actually. When machines come, people do not lose jobs. People upskill to get better jobs. So actually, in a way, from absolutely low-level jobs, people are graduating to better level jobs, skilled jobs. So upskilling is good for humans. How bad is that? It's just that you need to be proactive in your learning spaces. So very, very important that you are upskilling and you are improving your productivity. All right, so AI-based business analytics. So if you look at all kinds of, I talked about personalization. So Dr. Tina also talked about AI. So we're talking about e-commerce, travel, entertainment, all of it is being, personalized. And all the data that you're feeding into the systems, that data is making your experiences so much better. So very, very important to have AI-based business analytics. So remember, what did Dr. Tina say? A lot of data is being fed into that system. And once that data is fed into the system is then makes all these services, such as entertainment, travel, banking, all of it much better in terms of productivity, in terms of efficiency, in terms of having better UX, which is user experiences, right? Now, I always, whenever I'm talking of data in any forum, I cannot say how important it is to talk about data privacy and data security. Not only security, the privacy of data is of equal and probably more important, really. And what do I mean when I say that, in terms of security and privacy? I mean that, well, whatever data I am giving to any kind of organization or I'm feeding in, all that data then should be in a very secure, so nobody should be able to hack it. It should be secure not only in terms of software, but also hardware. So server rooms are logged, they have biometric access. Very few people should be able to get access to it. You are, stopping all kinds of unauthorized access by authentication, by passwords, by making sure that people only access the data that they are, they have a right to. So I repeat to you, they should be able to access only that data which they have a right to access. So that's very important for me. And then you have a network of security, authentication. I said biometric, or you have maybe passwords, but passwords are not now old-fashioned really. You probably will look at biometric or any kind of facial recognitions. Then you'll have any kind of, if there's unauthorized access, so phishing direction. I'm sure all of us have got these, these mails which say that, send us this much of money and we will give you, we'll give you bank account, etc. All these kind of things keep happening. So that is very important. Phishing is when you get mails which pretend to be something else, but actually are not. Some kind of behavioral analytics. This is what I said, when you monitor behaviors of people. So for example, I gave you an example yesterday that suppose I use my credit card, say always in India, and suddenly my credit card is used maybe in London, then the company must red flag that why is this credit card being used in London? Is it being, or is it an unauthorized access, etc. And of course, you are going to prevent a lot of frauds in this way. Data security is very important. At the same way, data privacy. So nobody who's not authorized to, or who I have not authorized to access my data should be able to access it. I'm sure all of us have, I accept when we are filling in apps or some kind of forms. And that is when we agree to share our personal data, which is really, really dangerous. You don't want to do all that. So make sure that you're very, very careful about not only the security of data, but also the privacy of data. All right, next slide, please. Yeah. Hi, Mamta.
Hello, ma'am. Sorry, due to internet connection problem, I'm ups and down today. I'm upset that I'm not getting all the session.
Yeah. Please, don't worry. We're just starting and we listen to more of a lot of very interesting stuff coming in.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, ma'am.
All right. So we're talking of data security and how to keep all that data that we have in secure. So back it up regularly. A lot of anti-spyware has to be kept. Passwords have to be kept in. So these days, very few passwords and most browsers ask you not to use your common terms such as birthdays, etc., to keep your passwords. It is more advisable to keep, browsers sometimes give you an idea which kind, give you a combination of numerics and alphanumerics to keep your password. Do accept those. They are probably safer. And of course, these days, instead of the password traveling over the network, tokens travel. So that way, encrypted passwords travel. So that way, you're safer. Encryption, that's your next thing. Access controls. Remember, not only software access control in terms of passwords, but also physical access control. And I told you that maybe biometrics are the best way to control people walking into server rooms, etc. Locking of devices, not only physically, but also software-wise. So both ways. Whenever I talk about security, I mean both software as well as hardware security. Protection of data, and of course, storing all kinds of data very, very safely. So this is very, very important that I keep our data secure. Next slide. All right. Now comes the most wonderful, and probably one of the most powerful, ideas about analytics, and that's visualization. As children, I'm sure you remember that, if I give you lots of these numbers, etc., you'll probably not understand. But if I give you simple pictures, then it's so easy to immediately understand what's happening. So visualization, which means converting your data into all kinds of charts, graphs, is so, so important. And remember, we talked about BI yesterday, where immediate, very, very quick access, fluid access, easy access of getting maybe pie charts is presented in pictorially in terms of pictures. So that's a very interesting topic to have. So if you, let's see what it says. So 10 reasons why I should be looking at data visualization. Simple and fast. Very quickly, data gets converted into, and if you see the centers piece, there are all these donuts charts, bar charts, trend lines. Very quickly, they are getting converted into these pictures. You can understand very quickly at a glance. So if I give you lots of numbers, probably it'll take time to understand. But if I give you a quick trend line, very quickly they understand. You can understand trends and areas. You can understand patterns that's happening in your data. So remember, so for example, this particular trend line, it's showing there's an increase and then maybe it's stopping somewhere, etc. And of course, very quick interpretation of a large volume of data. And because you're doing all these analysis quickly, remember yesterday we learned the word nimbleness, organizational nimbleness, meaning that as an organization, you're quick, you're agile, you react to the changing environment very, very quickly. And this is leading to better ROI, you're getting better decision making, and of course you are having better strategy, you are streamlining your processes, etc. So very, if I were to be asked what is that one most powerful tool, I would say data visualization, because it converts data into so many very, very understandable pictures, graphs, and you are very quickly you're able to understand absolutely. Remember, we showed you the slide for big data, such huge amounts of data available to you as a manager, as a professional. All that data then gets converted into very, very simple visualizations. Next slide, please. So very interesting. I had told you yesterday when we had talked about big data, that data will be in several forms and will be in several formats. So we can have ETL, or extract, transform, and load, meaning extract data from its source, transform it into one single format, and load it into the data warehouse. Remember, we said data warehouse. And what was data warehouse? A data warehouse was a central repository of data. Central repository, meaning the place where we're going to keep all our data. So as an organization, and very quickly, it'll give us access to all the possible data that we need. Very, very important. Look at, I like this diagram a lot. It is one of those very standard diagrams. I've shown you many variations of it yesterday. One more today, just to give you a little idea as to what it is done. So look at this left, extreme left. What does it say? It says data sources. So what is the first one? It says data sources. Then from data sources, so what kind of data? Sales data, CRM data, third-party data, ERP data, any kind of data which is existing in your, you move it, extract all that data from its parent source, standardize it, clean it, format it, and then load it into that green structure called the data warehouse. What is a data warehouse? We did that. We did data warehouse is any kind of place where it is a central repository of data. And the end, you will have lots of these graphic representations, a lot of interactive dashboards, and you're going to have a lot of fun with data. So remember, we said very, very important that data must tell me a story. It's not sufficient to just have data. The data must tell me a story. It must make sense to me. It must give me new trends. It must give me new ideas as to how the data is behaving. And once I understand how the data behaves, then it's very easy then to use that data to better my processes, to bring down my costs, to improve my productivity, to improve my efficiency. The list is endless. I could go on and on and on about the importance of the data-driven decision making. One word we'll remember whenever we say business intelligence, data-driven decision making. All right, next slide, please. Let's discuss these two words. So I hope you guys are not sleeping. So anybody can give me an idea about these words? Forget the explanation that I will do. Any idea as to what they mean? Anybody? So type it in if you don't want to talk like this. Type it in. I need a few answers. Just Google it. How difficult is that? Okay.
Prediction means all about your future. You're forecasting your future.
Yes,
Whereas
very good.
prescriptive means it is also kind of the planning, but in an elaborate, incomprehensive way, the prescriptive one.
Oh, brilliant. What else? What else? Somebody else. I'm not going to agree till the time you guys give me all kinds of answers. You have to wake up. You have to be interactive. I try to make it as interactive as possible. Very good answer by Mamta, but I want more. Yeah. Please go ahead.
It's a kind of a vision or a prediction of the future.
Absolutely. So correct. So let me just give you a little bit of technicality associated. So remember we said use the word model yesterday. What are models? Models are any kind of, when we use mathematical or statistical and create relationship between impacting variables. So for example, very simple example. Suppose I were to say the variable or the end result is learning. So how much is Mamta learning? How much is Than learning, and so on? How much is Mohammed learning? Now this learning would be impacted by several variables. So maybe one of them would be a teacher. The other would be how busy they are in that particular day on whatever work they are doing. The third, maybe they may have small children at home or things like that. All kinds of things may be impacting the learning that's happening. Now we create a relationship or a model between these impacting variable and the impacted variable. Now once that model is set, then I can use that model to predict future. So if I have a model, say between, say salary and crash facility and increment, and then it is all these variables are impacting my motivation. Then once I have the model set and correct model set, I can always then predict what kind of motivation would be with people. Now, once I can predict, then I can prescribe what should be the ideal behavior. So maybe I should give 10% increment every year. Maybe the increment should be regular, whatever, things like that. So what am I saying? That once the models are set between impacting variables and impacted behavior, then I can predict the future. And once I know the future, then I can either course correct, take remedial and precautionary measures, or I can, take a precaution that an undesirable effect doesn't happen. So either ways, I can then prescribe the perfect behavior. And all this will happen because of the underlying models we have created between impacting and impacted variable. That means impacting variables, take any phenomenon, motivation, attrition, and then see what all these are impacted with. And once you create a relationship between impacting and impacted behavior, you are then able to predict the future. And if the future is not what you want, then probably twist it a little to get the right results. So very simple, if you are, say, want to lose weight, for example, so then you reduce your food, you increase your exercise, and that's your desired behavior, right? Same thing that we will do out here. So that's your whole, difference as well as understanding of the two variables. So more understanding of what I just said in the next slide, which is predictive, is where you are seeing KPIs, which is, remember yesterday somebody very intelligently gave me that word, key performance indicators. And you are going to then see how those key performance indicators can be then used to to better the performance, to improve the motivation, to reduce the attrition, whatever. And see, you are seeing an optimized and desired result. So you can always change the result by changing the KPIs. So that is where we are heading to in terms of predictive and prescriptive analytics. The next trend. See, it is not sufficient to have data. And then it is not sufficient to have that the analytics of that data. Then it is definitely not sufficient, even if you've got your story, even if you know what the data is saying to you now. After that is your real challenge, that you must share it with the concerned stakeholders so that they can use the data, so that they can use the analytics that you have used, and they can then do their work properly. So the collaboration or dissemination of information, or making sure that everybody gets the right report, everybody gets the right inputs that they need. So that that is very, very important. You collaborate and you find out as to you share all the data, the analytics that you have done, all the data that has talked to you, and then after you have shared it, you are going to with all the concerned stakeholders. So not only you, but everybody in the organization benefits for it. So maybe a CRM, maybe a supply chain management, everybody then benefits from the data and the data analysis that you have done on that data. So that's your next. How many of you know about ERP? Just raise your hands or give me some indicator. Just let me know. How many of you, yeah, Mamta, please go ahead. Just tell me what do you know about ERP? You're mute.
Sorry, ma'am. Sorry.
Yeah.
Enterprise resource planning. It is a kind of that a system which are using for the whole data purpose, either your HR purpose, either your production purpose, either your that means marketing purpose. The whole scenario comes into one entity. So that kind of system we are using. We can extract data, any kind of data from that system. So it comes under the enterprise resource planning. It's a global systems.
Very good,
Yeah.
very good. Excellent. Great. So that's when you see that all the data is being utilized and you're going to use it for various processes. Next slide, please. All right. So these days, you are talking to most of the machines. So you're talking to your car, you're talking to your Alexa, you're talking to your phone, you're asking the phone to call your contacts up. You're talking to machines. Maybe 10 years back or 5 years back, if somebody would have said that one day will come where you will start talking to machines, somebody would have laughed that you're gone mad. Nobody talks to machines, but you are talking to machines now. And the machines are not only listening to you, they're also talking back to you. So if you tell Google that please call, Joseph, then it'll ask you, which Joseph do you want? Joseph, Joe or Joseph Jones? It'll ask you. So not only is a machine understanding, A, you're talking to it, B, with all the accents. So I have a certain accent, Mamta has an accent, everybody has an accent. Not only is a machine understanding those words, it's also talking back. It's even confirming whether that is what you want. And that probably is going to be the next big thing that's happening, the natural language processing. So when machines start understanding human beings, understanding what they want, and then even replying. and almost getting it correct. That is probably the next big frontier of business intelligence, of artificial intelligence. So if you look at it, what is it saying? It is saying that the natural language would mean that it's going to understand, and also it's going to understand the context where you're speaking. So it gives you context specific suggestions also. And as and when your Alexa is with you, it gets better and better and better as you go along. So think about it. You know, if you have bought something once from Amazon, every time you go back to buy something, it will prompt you what you had bought earlier. So every time it is getting better and better. The more you use it, the better it gets. So that is your artificial intelligence, that's your machine learning, that is your natural language processing, and that is going to be the next big thing. You know, when people had started using the touch phones, everybody said it's impossible. Nobody's going to use these touch. I mean, why would you? You're going to type everything. Now nobody uses typing anymore. Now this is the next big thing where you don't even type anymore. You don't even use touch screens. You use natural language processing. You actually talk to your machines. Next slide, please. So some very interesting examples of NLP. So voice analysis and processing. So it understands my voice, it understands your voice, it understands, you know, who you are, in what kind of environment you are. It even understands, you know, you can have robots which are designed to take care of your feelings. So very interesting examples there. Now, embedded analytics. So as I just said, that a lot of things are embedded, meaning a lot of inbuilt analytics. So for example, if you just open the Zoom, it will tell you that who's logged in when, who's logged out when, who's logged out, how many times they did raise your hand, how many times, simple analytics. So every processes you are doing, there's an embedding or there is a undercurrent of analytics going on. So simple thing, for example, you go to a mall. So every time you put your foot on the entrance of the mall, it maps with the help of IoT, which Dr. Anita taught you, how many people have entered into the mall. This gives you an idea how big, important that mall is. And accordingly, you can jack up the prices of the mall or jack up the, you know, all the shops which are available in the mall. So very interesting examples that you can talk about in terms of analytics, which is inbuilt into the processes. So you are also, so I'm just looking if I've covered. So you can enhance all kinds of, and once you have embedded these analytics, any of these processes you're in charge of can be done in a better way because you get instant numbers. So for example, a simple website gives you how many people have visited that website. Now, once you get the number of people visiting that website, you are sorted. That means you know how important your product is. So all those things then become very, very interesting. Next slide, please. So we are going to take a couple of minutes break, just because we've already had a break. So just about 3-4 minutes of break. And then I'll just ask you if there are any questions before I go to the next bit. All right. Just 2-3 minutes, not more, because we've already had a break, right? All right. So we are back with, so am I audio? Yes, audible and visible. So we are back and please tell me if there are any questions. Anybody, any questions? We've covered a lot of ground. So I don't want to bulldoze too much and then people not understanding. So Mighty team is already ready with a quiz for you. Do we have a quiz coming in? There's some music there. So any questions? Anybody? If you want, you can always put it in the chat. we've already got, an excited IT team trying to give you a quiz, but we'll just wait for the quizzes. Wait for, go to the next slide, please. Wait for, just change the slide, please. So any questions, anything that comes to your mind? Anything that comes to your mind? Okay, so again, once we have something as, remember we started yesterday with this very, very important slide which said data is a new oil, data is a new raw material for any kind of processes that's happening in the organization. We have yesterday established the importance of data. And once we have established the importance of data, then somebody has to own it, somebody has to protect it, somebody has to take care of it, somebody has to make sure that there are no leakages. All that then becomes very, very important. So having said that, look at this word. It's very, very important. Anything which is precious, you guard it. So your jewelry, your money, your territory, everything you guard it. And you make sure that your property is in your name, your jewelry is in your own locker name. So you take ownership of it. Once you take ownership of that data, so very, very clearly the ownership of data is defined as to who really owns what piece of data. So that unauthorized access to data is probably one of the biggest concerns of any organization. So you hear of so many leaks happening, sometimes big giants such as Google or Amazon, they apologize for unauthorized access to their data. So data, and then they are liable if in a court of law, in terms of cyber law, for any leakages that happen in their organization. So the ownership of data is very, very well defined in any organization. After we have established the ownership, there is the question of accessibility. Who should be able to access? So ownership, authentication, authorization, who's authorized to use that data? Then, of course, as I just talked about, security and privacy of that data. And also, remember yesterday we talked about the quality of data, how clean data is important, how data must be consistent no matter where you access it. The cleanliness of data, the noise-free data, that is then very, very important. And of course, all this data would then lead to some knowledge that is happening, would give you insights for decision making. So remember, we learned the word insights yesterday. So insights from the data that you are talking about. So all these are very, very important. Now, literacy, digital literacy, data literacy. We go on and on and on about the importance of internet, of literacy, of data literacy. But if you think about it, the first thing that you need to do is let people understand how to use a computer. Is there enough power? Because a lot of, say, for example, I'm in India or smaller countries, even country like yours, there may be issues with the power in rural areas. There may be issues with the internet in their areas, the access to internet. So all that, and then the how to use, the how-to of how to use a computer, how to use a database, how to use the data that is available to them. So all that literacy then becomes very, very, very important. So not only are we looking at all kinds of fancy words, we are also looking at something as basic as data literacy. That would also be very, very important. So let's see the smaller words that are there, listed there. data literacy. Just give me a second. The words are too small, so I see it in my own computer. So you are going to put training. So change management. Human beings are very, very difficult in terms of accepting change. So you have to put a change management in place where people accept the changes you're trying to bring in terms of data, in terms of software, in terms of hardware. And then, take a systematic view of change management. First, you initiate an orientation, let them know of the importance of data. After you have oriented them, then let them train them to use it. And once the training is there, make sure that they have supported every single place. So anytime that they are stuck with hardware or software, they are able to, access help, and then that help lets them use the data in a much better manner. Next one, please. Next one. We have the NLP coming back again. I think we've gone back. Yeah. So next slide is your data automation. That, remember, Dr. Anita talked about, I talked about IoT. That means you're not physically entering the data. There's no data entry anywhere. So you're talking about RFID, you're talking about, see, I told you, forget the typing in, etc. Just scan the code and it'll take you straight to the website. So data entry was done automatically, and almost everybody is now scanning codes. So no longer are you typing anything, because the minute you type, there's a human intervention, you are liable to make mistakes. So if you look at data automation, a lot of data that entry that is being done is being done at the automated level. So you may have sensors, you may have QR codes, you may have any kind of entry which is devoid of the human being, so that first of all, it's faster. Number two, it's more efficient. And very, very importantly, there is a lot of, it's error-free. So that's very, very important. So very good. Next slide, please. I think we've gone back. Embedded, it's showing embedded too. Okay. So we've already gone into embedded. So we've done all this. We've talked about how analytics is inbuilt into each of these processes, so you can get your results. So that's about it. You are looking at, and now we are entering our activity, because I don't like to bulldoze too much of information. Then nobody enjoys that. So there's a quiz coming. So do we have a recap slide? Never mind, we'll give you a couple of minutes to look at all the slides that are there, and just take us to the first recap slide. And we are going to give you that time to recap. We're going to give you a couple of minutes to ask me questions, and then you're going for a quiz again. So please be ready for a quiz. This is all the things that we've talked about. So please be ready. We are looking at a quiz in about a couple of minutes. So we're giving you a cheat sheet so that you can do all your cheating from this recap slide. And from there, we'll take you to the quiz again. So we're giving you a recap. Look at it, ask me questions. Tell me if there is anything that you want to ask. So is everybody here?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Andrea, Elder, Jose, Victor.
Yeah.
Hi, Victor.
I
You
will
understood,
teach.
right?
Yes.
Mamta, Mohammad, Han, Noah. So look at the recap. There's a quiz coming up. You have to do well in that quiz. So we'll give you 2-3 minutes. Ask me any questions if you want to.
Here's mentioned the business intelligence and the business intelligence environment. Is this the two things, ma'am?
In the recap,
Yeah, in the recap, there is a mention the bullet number 2, the business intelligence, and then third, the business intelligence environment. Is this the two different
so
things?
business intelligence is a term, and the environment would contain of all the.
Okay.
Remember, we talked of various building blocks such as data mining, such as
Yeah,
data, all the various building blocks for business intelligence.
yeah.
So in a way, all this comprise together to form that one big umbrella called business.
What is this OLAP, ma'am? After
OLAP.
data mine, OLAP, yeah, OLAP.
OLAP. That's analytical processing, online analytics. So we've talked of embedded analytics. I've talked of real-time analytics. So it's more of a software which works on the data warehouse. I've not goes into a little bit of a technicality.
Yeah, this is our tool which help to make the decision after you by using the data available in data warehouse. Yeah, okay, that's fine.
Yeah, absolutely. 100% correct.
Hello.
Yeah, tell me.
Yes, in second attached paragraph, business intelligence comprise of data warehouse, data mass, and online analytic processing tool. So, what does I want to make clear about data mass?
Which point are you talking about?
Yes, at that paragraph, business intelligence comprise of data warehouse, data mass, and online analytical processing.
So data warehouse is a
Yes.
central repository.
Yes,
Data
okay.
mass,
But
data
I would like
mass.
to, I would like to know what does it means a data mass?
Data mart. Data
Yes,
mart
yes.
are smaller data warehouses, subject specific or functional
Yeah.
specific data warehouses. They're smaller.
Yes, smaller.
Yeah.
House, yes.
Smaller data warehouse are called data marts, or more
Yes.
subject specific, functional specific. So maybe the organization has a data warehouse and may have
Yes.
data marts of maybe marketing, of maybe sales, etc.
Yeah. Specific data.
Yeah,
Yes.
specific, very subject
Thank you,
oriented.
Professor.
Yeah,
Thank you.
sure. My pleasure. If you ask questions, it's a very good indicator. That means you were listening to what we were teaching you. So can we have the quiz? All right. So here goes the quiz. Again, as always, scan the QR code. It'll take you to the quiz. The quiz is coming on. Scan the code. Same thing, just open your camera. Now we have learned embed that how you are automating the data entry, no typing for you. Just scan the code and we are done. Very quickly. Are we ready? Everybody's entered? Yeah, let's go. Very good sign. People enter, enjoy. Give them some music. We are not getting music, right? Okay. Very good, Thida. Tough competition between Thida and Jose. Next. Very good. You talked of data visualization. Very good. Jose, you're winning. Excellent. Some of them are just to make you curious about data intelligence. We had limited time, so I could not have gone on and on forever. But some of them were just to make you curious. The best thing about a teacher is that she should make you curious about it. So some of these questions are just to make you curious. Jose is still leading. Wow. So there are more coming. Don't worry, we haven't touched on these, but these are just to make you curious. These are all our models. These are all our models, right? Still a lot of people are getting them right. Excellent. We've talked about this, natural language processing. We've now talked about trends also. So this quiz was covering both the hours. 4 hours we've been talking. That's a lot. We'll meet again and we'll discuss some more. Jose is really leading. Nobody's even. So 2 more questions. Very good. Today is also there. One more. Some of them are googly questions. You can always Google them. And the last one. So the number. Mamta, very good. Ida, excellent. And Jose, you have really outdone everybody else. Very, very good. Please clap for yourselves. You've done a very good job. Now we have about 3-4 minutes left. We'll give you again one QR to give this nice little feedback. Nothing serious, just a fun feedback. So can we have the next QR? And well done, everybody. Clap for yourself wherever you are. So scan this, the last scanner, and then we are done for the day. Just switch on this. Same, you need to just scan it. Can we have that dashboard? Give them another 30 seconds to scan it and then we can show the scan. So this is a new tool. So these all are, if you ever think about them, these are analytic tools. So we analyze your performance, we analyze how you're feeling. So this is a different one. We analyze what you're thinking. So we use the word cloud. That is why I like to use these tools, because they are also very, very simple analytics. Without you realizing on it, you're using embedded analytics. So I'm doing very simple analytics with you without you even realizing it. The minute you type in something, you give me a feedback, you give me an understanding of the process we're talking about. So can we have the dashboard now? I hope all of you scanned. Wow, that's nice. So can we enlarge it? Okay. So lots of people saying that they enjoyed the session. I like these really nice smileys. So looks nice, very good. I always say that whenever we go, we should have a lot of fun. Everything should be fun. So can we have the videos on, and so that everybody kind of, that's such a nice smiley. See, we purposely keep those smileys so that you're happy when you're learning. Everything should be done with fun. You should never do anything under stress, under duress. Everything should be fun. That is how I like to teach. So I hope you've liked it. So can we have more videos on? Because till the time we meet again. It's so nice to see all of you. I've been teaching. I hope you've enjoyed. Yeah.
Thank you, Professor, for this presentation.
Yeah, you liked it?
No, very good, very good. But I would like yesterday, can you share with us your presentation?
Yeah. I'll convert it into because it's very, very heavy. I have lots of these animations inbuilt into it. So we'll convert it into a PDF and we'll share it with you immediately.
Thank you.
Because all learning must be shared. The more you share, the more you learn. So I've learned a lot from you, and I hope you've taken something back from these, from my lecture. And so Thida, you won?
Professor. Yes, now I write as office.
It's clear. You know how to animate your course and attract audience.
Sorry, I heard you learn how to animate. What did you say after that?
I see your experience to animate what you present in your course and to attract audience and students.
That's so kind of you. That's a whole idea. I said,
very good.
The idea is to make sure that you are, enjoying the session. It should not be like, oh God, I'm so bored and why I'm doing this. It should be a lot of enjoyment.
Amazing session. For me, it's a new topic, this business intelligence. I know, but there is many new concepts and new information. I should summarize, or I should return to the slide and focalize on many things.
Sure, absolutely. So what you do is that you, we'll just share the presentation with you very soon. I'll share it with Divya and she'll float it with everybody. And then you can enjoy the presentation. And I'm always there. So I don't know. And we'll, at the last slide, we'll put in my contact details. Just put my email and my LinkedIn profile. So you can always find me on LinkedIn at Anupama Rajesh. If you put it with Amity, just put in my wheel. So we'll just share the presentation with you. Connect with me, and we're always connected in this very, very small digital world. Okay, so I like to always end with something which is in French. That's probably the only word that I know. And it says au revoir, which means until we meet again. So till then, namaskar, thank you, good evening, and salam. Bye.
Thank you, Professor.
Bye.
Okay. Thank you, Professor. Yes. Professor,
Thank you so
I
much,
request you. Yes. Can I get a reference book for extra? Yes. Reference book.
Reference book. I'll share it on the slide.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you, Professor. Yes. I like.
Thank you, Professor.
Oh, Jose, this is so nice to see you. I mean, there are a lot of people who didn't switch on. I was always wanting that you should switch on the camera because it then becomes so interesting to see you.
Now he is a winner. That's why he switched on his camera.
Excellent. Yeah,
Thanks.
So
I
nice
appreciate you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, ma'am.
Screenshot.
Bye-bye, all friends. Bye-bye, Victor.
Bye-bye, Mohammed.
Bye-bye,
Victor. Bye-bye,
everyone.
everyone. See you
Bye-bye.
tomorrow.
See
Tomorrow
you
is the last
tomorrow.
day for our session.
Bye. See you.
See you tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah, see you tomorrow. Bye, Professor Anupama.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.